Hi, this is Janae Bauer from the Church of St. Paul, and I wanted to share with you a lesson that I did around the Trinity is a mystery. So I took the great information from our family resources, family formation packet, and I made an escape room activity that I want to share with you because I think it would be just a fun way to teach this. And I suggest only doing this for grades 4 through 6th grade, and it took about an hour. Again, I've only done it one time, and I did have to help them a lot along the way. So I just wanted to share with you what I did in this video, and then I have a link of the resources down there that I used to supplement it as well. So the first thing is I had on the like a whiteboard or flip chart all the different resources that I used for this, which are easy and simple, which I'll go through these. So I told everybody that two things. They have to figure out the order in which to access these resources, and then they have to get the answer right and complete the activity, which will lead them to the next resource. So I started it out. I'll just kind of walk you through it as we go along. So I started out, where should you go for anything of the faith? Where should be the first thing you go for anything of the faith? And I directed them to this sheet to think about, it's only these kinds of things. And of course, kids blurted out Bible. And again, I would suggest at least 3 people on a team. 3 to 5 would probably be the most, and have a couple sets of clues for each one so that more people can work on it, even if they're working on the same thing. Okay, so they said Bible. So then what I did was I said, all right, go get your Bibles. So they got their Bibles, and then I gave them a sheet. And again, all the resources are linked down low here. So these are 2 sheets that are related to the topic of Trinity. So they then had to look up the verses and write down the right answer. Then they had to look on the sheet to try to figure out what was the clue to the next one. So if you notice, the word book up here is all capitalized, and then over here, bold and capitalized, I have some of the numbers. So it meant on this sheet, I only have one other book, and then this listed the page numbers. So again, it takes time for them to figure it out. As you can see here, there's lots of numbers and things like going on with the kids as they were trying to figure it out. So it brought them to one thing is 3. They were looking at the index, all of these things, and then finally they realized page 36 and 37. And even though this is my book and I had flags, I told them it had nothing to do with it. Right now it's just flagged here, but once they guessed book, then I gave them this little sheet, and that's all they needed to do. They needed to read through these pages, 36 and 37, and there's a phrase that says, what if our ideal God were blank, blank, blank? For the next clue, this is key. And the answer is not 1, but 3. So, 3 and 1, or 1 and 3. Right? So 1 and 3, and for the next clue, that is key. So it's listed literally right here, 1 and 3. It's the only thing italicized, so it gives them that clue. Then that led them to the next thing, which was the worksheet that has the 1 and 3 here. So then when they look closely at this worksheet, they realize that there's not a lot on here except that some of the letters and things are underlined. So what they had to do here is pick out all the letters. For example, like this one, they picked out all the different letters, and then they're trying to figure out a word. And then the word that they eventually got to is demonstration. And that was one of the other resources from the packet, is to do the demonstration where they use the vinegar and the baking soda, and then it bubbles over to talk about like the love of the Trinity and the exchange of love in the Trinity. And so then that led to, in there it says in the resources, so I actually had them just go to the family formation, my notes, do the demonstration as it said. So they all had to do the demonstration, which was super fun. And I spread all this stuff out throughout the room, so they had to go to different stations. So they did the demonstration, and then there was a part that says, see how amazing his love is, or something. What you see shall amaze you. So see shall brought them to the next clue, which is one of the YouTube videos on St. Augustine and the seashell, which talks about the Trinity. So I had this YouTube video loaded up, and I also had it on my phone because I had Girls Against Boys. So then they could load up both at the same time if they were at that time. So they watched the video, and while they're watching the video, they had another little sheet to do and complete. So after this, it was all about signs and what are the, they had to give 2 more examples of 3 elements in one. So like water can be like water, steam, and ice, or like an apple, you have, you know, the core, the skin, and the insides. So that, or shamrock, or the sun. So they're just a couple examples of signs, and then that led to the signs led to the next Trinity video, which that's a Father Barron one that just talked about the Trinity that I thought was really good, and kind of the signs of the Trinity. So these were a couple additional resources that I just pulled together. While they watched the video, again, they got another sheet here to answer some of the questions on this. And if here this time you notice, I highlighted 3 things. And there's no significance to what I highlighted, except if you notice the 3 things they all start with a C. So CCC for our next resource for the Catechism of the Catholic Church. So once they get this, and now as you can tell, they're getting down with the resources, so they're starting to catch on. They're realizing there's only a few resources left. So they got this, along with 4 passages from the Catechism of the Catholic Church that they had to look up. So they looked up all of these passages, and I made a fill-in-blank from them where they could answer the 4 answers. And then the 4 answers led to the beginning letter of each one was the ICON. So that led to the Trinity icon, which was super fun. So we had this beautiful icon that they could look at, you know, a picture of it, and then this icon as a worksheet too. So they looked at this and had some questions around it. So a lot of things they probably won't know. And then it was fun. I just went over these afterwards as much as they could answer. It wasn't that they couldn't move on if they didn't know these, but this was where the last clue. Basically, we ended it here because on this page, I had the mystery solved and trying to get kind of the most important gist of what the Trinity is. And here I have some letters in red and a couple letters in yellow, and then the last 4 blanks. So it was communion of blank. And then they guessed communion of love is really a great example of the Trinity. And that was their mystery solved. And it was super fun because as they were getting closer to the time, they were getting more excited and more nervous. Can they do it? And within an hour, I did have a group do that. Of course, I had to guide them and help kind of throughout. So the more I knew this, the better. But that hour went like this. They learned a lot. They had fun. I heard about it afterwards. So just a fun way to build on this idea of the escape room, to make the materials deeper in a way, have fun with them. They have to work in a team and go deeper, and it was a lot of fun. So I have the resource of all the documents and forms that I made, if that's helpful, and where to go for the videos that we watched, and hope you can enjoy it. Thank you. From my heart to yours. Be loved.